So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how we did a $100,000 launch in 48 hours and added $3 million in ARR in just 4 weeks for this brand. So a little bit of background on the brand. It's a supplement brand in the CPG space, and I've been working with them for a couple years now. They are more established, so some of the stuff in here is going to be more high level just because they're more established, and it's not a brand that, is starting from the ground up. They've been around for over 20 years at this point. So some of the lessons will be more relevant for brands that have existed for some time, but you can still take a lot of what is distilled in this document and apply it to your own brand and see success with it. So let's just get into it. So background is that we didn't launch a brand new product. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We took something people already loved and made it a moment. So we took an existing best-selling product and just launched a new variant. In this case, because it's supplements, it's a new flavor, right? And in the first 48 hours, like I mentioned, we generated $100,000 in sales. And in the first 4 weeks after launch, we added 5,800 new subscriptions, which is worth over $250,000 in MRR or $3 million in ARR. Of course, this isn't taking into account churn, but you get the idea. And the other note that was worth talking about is that it became the most successful product launch in the brand's history, selling more in the first 2 weeks than the previous top seller did in the first 3 months. So this is a little screenshot from launch day. You see every day starts like this because about 60 to 70% of this brand's revenue is subscription. Again, this is just the D2C portion of the business. They're on Amazon, they're in retail, but every day we start with a large dump of subscription revenue at about 12 a.m. But then you'll see the launch moment throughout the day started about here. So this is when the launch went live on socials, on email, on ads, pretty much everything. And then it kind of increased throughout the day as ads scaled and then spiked again here. This was probably another social post or an email blast. Maybe some creators were posting, and then it kind of tapered off throughout the day. So that's the screenshot of the first 48 hours. Yeah, so this is actually the first 48 hours. So yeah, this was the launch moment on day one, and then this was day two. I'm sure there were some posts or emails that went out, maybe some UGC creators. But yeah, that's what it looks like. And so here's the problem. The brand, which is a 7-figure D2C supplement company, it was performing well, but growth had slowed. CACs were creeping higher. Ad fatigue was real. They needed to create momentum again and fast. September was a really tough month, especially for paid media. CACs were doubling. Everything was just not working. And so they really needed a shot in the arm here. But instead of launching something new, we asked a simple question. What if we took our best-selling product and turned it into an event? And that's exactly what we did. And so the insight here is that instead of creating a brand new SKU, we launched a variant of what was already proven, a new flavor built on the foundation of the best-selling product. So a lot of brands think that they need to come up with completely new products, when in reality, if you have bestsellers, it's much easier to launch variants of those, and you can find a lot of success with that rather than opening up a new product or a new category. There's always a time and a place for that, but if you're looking for a quicker win and just a way to get data fast, I recommend just launching a variant of a best-selling product. And so the strategy is that we built the campaign on 3 pillars. The first is a familiar product with a fresh story. So like I just mentioned, it's a product that everyone knew, everyone loved. We had already found a proven winning offer for this product, which I'll make a whole nother video on actually creating offers and the importance of that and what that can do for your business. But the key here is that customers didn't need convincing, just curiosity. They already know the product. They already love it. They just need some curiosity and a story to be told behind it. The second thing is the seasonal timing. So we tied the launch to Halloween, and I can't show the actual campaign, but it was heavily tied into the Halloween theme and aesthetic, which really helped it too. Everything from the naming of the product to the brand storytelling to the content to the ads, everything tied into this, which you need your whole team on the same page. But if you can do this, it just makes the moment so much better because everything is tied into one story. And so every touch point, like I said, ads, email, SMS, it all built anticipation, telling one cohesive brand story. And here are the launch mechanics: brand storytelling, videos, and teasers. So we tapped into content creators to create authentic storytelling videos. We had email campaigns teasing the new flavor, full storytelling campaign on socials. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere that your customer lives. And then a coordinated drop among socials, email, SMS, Meta, and Google. It was a full-blown launch event, not just a product release. So now getting into execution. The pre-launch was 7 days out. We started testing early cryptic email headlines, statics and videos with hints about the flavor, countdown timers, and stories and captions. The goal here was not sales, it was anticipation, obviously. And the thing that I think really worked well here was the fact that it was very cryptic. It was not, this is our new flavor, this is when it's launching. We posted really thoughtful teasers around what the flavor could be, the theme into Halloween, just trying to tie everything together, but also like build a lot of curiosity. Like people kind of had an idea of maybe what the flavor would be, but they didn't have an exact idea of exactly what it was. And we made sure not to do that, because you want to build hype, you want to build anticipation, you want them waiting for drop day to be like, what is this that, they've been teasing? I need to check it out. I need to try it. And so once it got to launch day, everything hit at once. Email, SMS, meta ads, Google search, TikTok, UGC, every platform we hit the customers on. First few hours were chaos, but in the best way. So the results were 10K in the first hour, 65K in the first day, and then 100K in the first 48 hours. And so here's another screenshot. This is just from day one. You see the subscription revenue starts the day here, then kind of slowly builds up. And then we launched here, which you see this spike and then tapers off for the rest of the day. So pretty successful launch. And then here's the aftermath. So after launch week, we shifted into retention mode. We built post-purchase flows that turn one-time buyers into subscribers, educational emails about the flavor and the benefits, UGC's testimonials from early buyers. Highly recommend this. If you have content creators or anyone that creates UGC for you, send out the product early if you can, get those testimonials in, and then you can start posting those quickly after launch. Retargeting ads, pushing subscription messaging. And so here's the actual results. Within 4 weeks, the results spoke for themselves. 5,800 new subscriptions, which this brand was averaging about, on the best months, like 4,000 in a month. And then on the slower months, like 2,500 to 3K in a given month. So 5,800 was a huge spike. 250K in MRR, which is 3 million in ARR, of course, not taking into account churn, but still a great metric. 30% month over month growth in gross sales, a 50% drop in CAC from $60 all the way down to $30, which was huge. And this is the craziest one for me, $2 CPAs on Google and $5 CPAs on Meta. Those are the lowest for me personally that I've ever seen. So this was a really cool moment for me to just literally, like, so much of this was outside of my control. It was support from the email team, the content team, the social team, like everyone pulled their weight on this. And so obviously I can't claim credit and just say that like the ads were really good. Our creative strategist killed it. Like everyone just killed it in this launch. And so it just made my job a lot easier. So crazy CPAs here. And I included screenshots. So this is from Google. This is the first week, I believe, or first 2 weeks, October 22nd to November 4th. We spent about 7,400 in spend, conversion value, 118K, and $2.82 CPAs at about a 16x ROAS, which is just insane. Of course, Google, Meta, they over attribute a little bit, but just crazy numbers. And so here's Meta as well. As you can see, we had crazy low CPAs. This is a day-by-day breakdown. And we weren't spending a crazy amount, about 3K on launch day, scaled it up to 4 to 3K on average. But as you can see, launch day, we had $5 CPAs, which is just insane. The lowest I've ever seen in my own experience. And then it rose up a little bit to $9, but still crazy CPA. And then kind of averaged out in between $10 and $20 for the remainder of the week. And we spent a total in just the first week of 24K and generated about 92K in sales at an average 3.8 ROAS. Day one was an 8.5, which is just crazy. Went down to 4.8, 3.8, and kind of stabilized around a 2.5 ROAS. The other cool thing was the new customer ratio. So generally we see anywhere from a 40 to 50% new customer ratio from Meta ads, but during this launch, we averaged a 60%. And this tells us that the product launch, even though it was more for our core customer who's familiar with the brand and loves the product, it was still bringing a lot of new customers to brand, which is really great to see. You always want your ads to be bringing in new customers. So overall, just really good performance in Meta and in ads in general. So some of the lessons here, number one is just that variants scale faster than new products. Now, of course, take this with a grain of salt. If you have a crazy new product that you're launching, it obviously can scale faster, but generally it's smarter and cheaper to expand what's already working because you have the data, you know what works, you know what customers love. Just do a different variant. It's just the easier play. Number two, storytelling drives emotion. So people don't just buy products, they buy into the actual story. The seasonal narrative made the product feel like a moment. And again, this would have gone different, I think, if we had just said, this is the new product, this is when it launches. Like, you want it or you don't. We really, really built a story around it, and people were so invested that, it was just a smashing success. So lean heavy into storytelling and building emotion there. Number 3 is planning the moment. Great launches aren't lucky, they're maps. We had planned this months in advance. We had a full launch calendar with every touch point timed down to the hour. Stack triggers, so scarcity plus exclusivity plus urgency is a conversion cocktail. Make sure that you have all of those things built in, because we did have only a certain amount of product ready upon launch, and we communicated that, so make sure you hit on all of those. And then system is better than a spike. So the campaign was designed to feed into subscriptions, not just a one-time sale moment. And that's what made the launch a recurring revenue engine, which you'll see in the screenshot down here. So this is the active subscriptions over time. As you'll see in September and really leaking all the way into October, subscriptions were on a downward spiral. Like, the trajectory was not looking good. We were just losing them day over day. And then you see the launch moment here on October 22nd, huge spike. And within literally a week of launch, we already had made back what we had lost in about a month and some. Like, we're now at above 23,000 subscriptions. When starting the month, we had just gone down below 22,000. So huge spike here for the launch moment. And that just shows what a good launch can do for your business. And so final thoughts here is just that the launch is proof that great marketing isn't about reinventing the wheel. It's about timing, story, and execution. And when you pair a great product with a powerful narrative and a disciplined launch plan, you don't just create a sales spike, you create a moment that defines the brand. So summarizing all of this into my final thoughts is, make sure that when you're doing a new launch, if it's going to be a new product, then do your research and understand what the customers actually want. If you're going to do a new variant, take something that's actually working, a bestseller, or something that you at least have data on, and build something that customers will be interested in. Once you do that, build a story around it, invoke emotion, do anything you can to generate curiosity. And as you can see in these charts, like, it can literally change your business overnight. And again, we had everything dialed in. The ads were great. The content was great. Everything was completely dialed in. But even if you don't have everything dialed in, if you even nail part of the strategy, you can still see success. So this is how we did it. We're going to take these learnings into the next one and hopefully see if we can beat this one. If you got any value out of this, please subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm going to drop more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions or need help with your own brand, just feel free to comment. I reply to all the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.